Okay, so this is the first ever edition of watching people play League of Legends. I am your host, Master Flash. That's my in-game name, and we're gonna go over Famons. I think it's Famon, but without the E or anything like that. That's who we're going to be watching today. He's Plat One in an A. Um, Based on his mastery score, it showed that he played a lot of Yorick, a lot of Sion. So he definitely seems like he's in the lane of split pushing and playing champions that really like to exercise um, dominance when they get ahead. So we're going to watch this game, but before we start the game, I think it's really important as soon as you get done with champion select is start thinking about what you want to do. So we have to look at the team comps here. We see a Zac in the top lane, right? Is Zac a champion that can utilize the gold that you give if you play Inting Scion? He can use it okay, but he's not the best user. Like if they had like a Kane, for example, or a Kindred who can really snowball the game with your gold. You also have to think about, okay, are you going to recall early against a champion like York? Are you going to get the push? You need to be thinking about all of these things as soon as you get into game. Also, let's talk about starting items and let's see what he goes in the starting item here. So he goes Doran Shield in one pot. I think this is a huge mistake. Um, the reason being is that if you go Shield and one pot, you're sacrificing 450 gold that builds into nothing just to get a little more power in lane, which, by the way, isn't always the best thing for Sion. Sometimes you want to be a little weaker as Sion so you can die early and you can really, you know, start inting. Sometimes that's a really good strategy on Sion because you get a lot of pressure on the enemy team. It also gives you more gold because you can farm in your minions. But yeah, so I think Doran Shield one pot. My first thing is never go Doran Shield one pot. In my opinion, the two ways to go with Sion at the beginning of the game. First, you go Health Crystal and two potions if you're going to be in the defensive lane. So if you're in a lane where you cannot survive the first three levels, without dying, and not just dying, but dying in a way that really ruins the game, um, then I think you can go longsword, or sorry, you can go health crystal and two potions. If you're in a lane like this, Sion versus York, where Sion actually has the upper hand in the first couple levels, I think you have to go Cull. Because if you think about Cull, you're getting it's the same amount of gold as Doran Shield, but you're getting gold back from it after 100 minions. In any case that you can get an item, sorry, let's just get this point out before we start the lane. In any case where you can get out an item, that helps Sion scaling, those are the items that you should go for. That's why Heartsteel is so good, is because it helps your scaling, and Cull does as well. It also helps you in the proxy because it gives you attack damage in order to kill the minions faster. So yes, you're going to be it's going to be obviously a riskier choice, and you're going to be less good in lane, but it helps you both in the proxy and for scaling. So in my view, you have to go. You really have to go. Wait, what happened here? Why is okay? I think this is just glitch, but you have to go Cull. It's really important. So we're in lane here. Yorick's on blue buff. We're in lane already. We're not leashing the Kane, which I'm a huge fan of leashing. I think it's really important, but he started race, so obviously you can't leash her. We have to think about what we're doing with this wave. Let's see what he does. If I were him, I'd be looking for a cheater recall, which means slow push wave one, slow push wave two, and then hard shove wave three into tower, and then back for what I would like is another long sword to really help with the proxying, because I think proxying is really important on Sion. But let's see what he does. This camera thing is really annoying. Okay. I really can't move anything. Okay, so we're in lane here. He started W, which I think Q and W are pretty good. I think both of them are good. Um, okay, so he traded. I think that was a really bad trade. You shouldn't go that far into the minions because he just took a lot of minion aggro here. So it looks like he's looking to push, which I think, again, I think is good. I think that you want to get level 2 in this lane. I really like how he did not let up on that charge. I thought that was really good. Okay, so this is perfect so far. I really like what he's doing. I think the wave state is perfect at this point because, like we just said, he pushed waves 1 and 2, and he has 5 minions more, the cannon minions coming in. So all he has to do is push this wave in and then back, and he's got a huge advantage on the orc. Let's see if he doesn't. Cheater recalling is a concept that was created by a guy named LS, Last Shadow. Pretty famous League commentator, League content creator. I think a lot of his ideas are really important. Not necessarily on Sion, but I think he's really good here. Okay. I don't think he's going to be able to get it in. Okay, so he can still recall on on wave 4 here. So he didn't quite get the minions in, but he can still, if he does well here, he can still, and he hasn't even popped his pot, which is good. So he's just got to kill this minion and recall. That would be the perfect lane. Okay, so that's pretty good that he got this poke, but I would back right now. I would. Okay, okay. So we've gotten through 4 waves. Sion has no mana, and by the way, he's at so much health that he does not need the Storm Shield. If he went for a call, this would still be the same result. He still would have gotten these waves in, maybe even faster because he has the additional AD from the call. I would not be here. As soon as you get this, let's go back 15 seconds. As soon as you get this wave in, right here, this is not an essential Q. It just, I know it feels good. It really feels good to say, I'm gonna take you down, baby. Let's go. No, I don't think you need a Q here. Or you Q and then you go right to this bush and recall because you've already put all these minions in a tower. You can go back. You can get a health crystal. You can get a longsword. For me, I prefer a longsword because I think proxying is really good, and longswords really help your early proxying. And you can build it into Hullbreaker later. But I would really back here. There's no reason after this to hang around unless you're going to dive, which I'm not, it's risky. You could dive here, but let's see if he dives. Yeah, no. See, now he's wasting time. He doesn't have that much mana. He's vulnerable to a gank. Yeah, he's getting all this damage, but a better player wouldn't be giving him this damage. I like the dematerializer here. Again, I think that I would back. There's no reason to stay. He's chugging a health pot right now. Like, this is exactly what York wants, is prolonging the lane where he has like a sort of okay advantage. So now we recall, which again, it's not going to work as well because there's only 3 minions under tower and the wave is already here. So it's really just, it's not as good of a situation as if he had backed originally. Because now it's just a neutral back where Yorick can back as well and the lane's pretty even. If he backed on wave 4, then that would have been a much better situation for him. So that's definitely something that I would point out for the future, is that if you're laning like this and if you get the early push, I think recalling after you push in wave 3 or wave 4, those are the best kinds of recalls. You got 2 health crystals, which I think is fine. I hope he goes Bomby first because my build on Sion is Bomby first and Heart Steel second. I think that's the best build that you can get, in terms of like both laning and late game, because I think hard steals, I think it's a really good solo queue item. Okay, so again, now York has this wave that he can push in. He missed a couple minions going back. Neither used TP, which I find intriguing. And yes, there is this glitch with York where his cage can sometimes stop Sion Q, which doesn't make any sense. Should be not a thing. But again, York's chilling. If I were York here, why are you not recalling? He should be recalling right now. There's no reason to just sit here in lane and watch Sion farm minions. Go back, maybe get another longsword, get something, right? How much gold does he have? How do you see this? If only I was good at this. Okay, well, I'll figure out how to see this next time, but I'm sure he has enough for some sort of item. Where is this gold thing? This is not something that I'm used to. Okay, so we're getting the pushback, which again I think is fine. I think Sion is always going to be pushing. There's rarely going to be a time where he's freezing. So he's going into the jungle and hitting this plan. Where is he going? Okay, he's placing a ward in blue. I mean, sure. Again, though, why not recall for Bombi Cinder here? Okay, again, I think there's just this is one of the biggest things with people in like platinum, gold, like people who don't have a purpose in laning. There isn't enough backs. Like you're not recalling enough. Like let's see how much time. Okay, so we're here. So the wave is in. Okay, wave is in. We have Zach on race. He's going to put a ward on blue buff. What does that ward do? Seriously. Like, what is a ward on blue buff going to do for him? Yeah, it gives him vision if Zach is there. But I'm fine with Zach ganking us. Like, if I was in this game and Zach ganks top instead of the. Wait, why is there Varus Ari also? I didn't even notice this. Varus and Ari. Like, I would gank that. I would gank Aatrox against Anivia. If Zach is ganking me and I still have Ghost, I still have Ultimate, like, I'm chilling. I don't know why you'd ever need to ward this, and you have a cannon winning minion going in. So let's count the seconds that it takes him to clear this wave. So again, Zach's coming in again. Like I said, like that's a way more attractive target. So that took about 15 seconds for him to turn that. So that would be a recall is about 7 seconds. So 8 seconds he could buy. He might already be around inhib or tower going back to lane with Bombi Cinder because he already got not a great back here. He only got 2 ruby crystals, which again is pretty bad because you want Bombi on your first back. That's the goal. So I would have backed and got Bombi here instead of going for this ward. I just don't know again, if it was a different matchup and he was really worried about it, I just don't know what this ward is really doing for you. Like having vision of Zach doing blue, like Zach might even skip blue because it's not a really essential thing for him. So I really don't like this ward. I know like common thought tells us, okay, like let's get a ward down, but I just don't see the reason. I would much rather go back and get Bombi Center. That's just me though. Okay, let's go back. So now he has ults. Again, we're up 9 CS against York. I mean, I think that's good, but I think there were more opportunities in this lane to get ahead. And now he has ultimate, and he's going to be a lot harder to deal with. I actually pick York into Sion because I think York has a pretty good matchup into him, but I do think there's some counterplay for Sion. Okay, so and again, we don't have Bombi Cinder. Bombi Cinder is so crucial for Sion in the early game in terms of wave clear. Like you're kind of useless when you don't have it. So I think I think this guy Famon's doing a pretty good job in terms of CSing though. I've been a fan. Um, yeah, I mean, I think the CSing has been pretty good. He has one more dematerializer. York backs. Please use this on the cannon. Why is he not using that on the cannon? I don't know why you wouldn't just use this dematerializer on the cannon because that's going to way help your clear. You're just gonna it's just gonna take longer if you're using it on a melee minion. I don't understand that. So that's what I would have done. Okay, and he's backing again. I think this is good. I think this is a good back. I would have wished to see it sooner. We're up 15 CS, and by the way, this ward has gotten us 0 information as Zach has been on the map the entire time. We saw him mid lane, we saw him bot lane, and even if he comes top, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with him coming top. Who cares? Who cares if he comes top, right? We have Varus and Ari killing it in the bot lane. That shouldn't be possible. I'd be tilted. Okay, let's go back to Sion here. So again, York's gotten a plate. We've gotten no plates. Again, I would say that York's maybe even winning this lane. He's only down. He's down 11 CS. He's got a plate, which is 175 gold. So 175 gold is about the amount of minions that he's missing. And he has his ultimate. He's really smoothly gotten through this early game. So, I don't think that's been a super successful early game. It hasn't been bad for sure, but it hasn't been successful either. This is terrible Yorick control here. Like the maiden should not be even close to here. It should be behind him at all times. So I like the trade. Um, I don't think you should go Sunfire. I think you should go Bomby into Heartsteel. That's my build. I think it's by far the best, especially in a matchup that you're not being threatened in. There's no reason to get this Chain Vest. Is this 40 armor going to change the matchup? No. Is a Heartsteel going to change the matchup? For sure. Getting Heartsteel stacks, starting your scaling, the damage early game is really important too. So I definitely would not have gotten this Chain Vest. I would have gotten um, any of the three components for Heartsteel. So this again, we can watch this again, but Yorick got absolutely destroyed here. So again, both are running Ghost, so this is a pretty easy gank. I think this is a really clever ult here. Like this was really well played that he kind of maneuvered around that cage, and I think that this is a good gank by Kane. I don't know if he's going red or blue yet. We'll see. Red seems like the only option, but he has a more offensive build. And then he's going Herald here. So he should push, push, push. And then he's going to take this plate. Again, I think this is good. He's going to take another plate. I also think this is good. Oh, please tell me he gets this plate. Yeah, he got it. Okay, nice. Really good. Really good. I really liked how he calculated that perfectly too. I thought that was really nice. So he's going to recall. I assume he's going to finish. He's going to finish Sunfire, and then he's going Heartsteel second. Again, I just don't. You don't need to finish Sunfire. I would really recommend Bomby into Heartsteel, or at least if you're going to go Sunfire, I would go it in the matchups where Sion struggles, not in the matchups where he's doing well. Like he's up a kill and 13 CS, so he can afford to go a little off build, and he doesn't need like the damage of the Heartsteel. So he's getting okay. I don't know why the camera keeps going. Okay, so he's gonna use. Hopefully, he uses the Sunfire well. Then, so he's got a really okay. Why are you just sitting here? Proxy. The wave is going to be right here. You can proxy this wave right here, go around the tower, proxy another wave, and then take wolves. Like you can impact the game so much through proxying, especially if you're not going for Heartsteel. If you're going to go for this early power, you have to use it to change the game. Because think about it this way: if you proxy, you put Yorick under his tower, he's super low. You take this wave, you take another wave back here. You might get Aatrox might come and try and kill you. Zac might try and come and kill you. So you could give Anivia plates. You also get jungle resources, so you put the Zac behind. So proxying is, again, I would really recommend proxying here. I think it's way better than just sitting here because what are we doing here? We're just like trying to prevent him to farm by farming minions. Like again, a good player is never gonna not be able to farm minions because you're sitting there. So I would really recommend proxying there. I just, again, you should always have a purpose to what you're doing. So he's keeping the lane. He's keeping it in the middle of the lane. So it looks like he's just trying to not use shoving. Again, I would just shove this wave and start proxying. That's what I would do. Um, so I mean, I wouldn't say this is wrong as long as you have a plan. But I just don't know why, like, what the purpose is of not shoving and slow pushing that instead. I think we should just shove that. Like, yeah, he's like, but this should never happen. Like, he should never be in this situation. And he's like missing cues on minions. Like, this is really poorly played by the Yorick. Um, And it's still not even going that badly for him, right? How many CS is he down? He's down 20. Where is he going? He should be at the wave hitting it. Oh yeah, okay. So here comes Zach. This is a terrible gank, and I like the ult out. I might even consider using Ghost instead of the ult there, and trying to turn it, just because I think that ulting is really important for lane. But I think that I think ulting out is good too. So again, he has ult now. Like if we had proxied, the Zac would have probably had to fight us like here, and if he's wasting his time here, think about how much can happen on the bot lane or on the mid lane. You also like these wolves are now getting taken up by Zac. That those could have been denied too. So I think really proxying has got to be the way here. He's going for a little bit of a Q bait in the bush, which I think is fine. Might be in trouble. Okay, ends up having to ghost. Okay, so again, this is a really important concept. Everything that's just happened, the Zac gank, the ghost, and the ult cooldown, all could have been prevented by proxying. And even if he dies here because Yorick decides to leave his lane, Yorick loses all the minions that hit tower. Um, he also Zac might lose these wolves if we got enough of a push here to take the wolves, and he might lose some tower damage too. So, and it's not like he has a shutdown either. But again, I'm being overly critical. Obviously, this is going pretty well. I mean, he has a 20 CS lead. He's going Swifty Boots. I think Swifty Boots are garbage. I know the boss is a big Swifty Boots fan. I think they're garbage. I rarely go them. I would go Tabbies here. There's so much AD damage. I think Tabbies is way better. But Swifties is okay. And then he went Crystalline. Again, I think if you're going Heartsteel second, I would not go your second tier boots until you get Heartsteel. I think Heartsteel is a really important item to get first. And again, like this lane's gone well, but York's gotten 3 plates. He's only down 20 CS. He's going to be a threat in the late game if he stops just standing in the middle of your queue. Um, and he should have probably gone Divine Sunder instead of Triforce here. He's also just like getting his maiden killed. He's not playing it well. But I think the CSing is really good. We're at 131 at 1422. I think that's a very good mark. Um, And I think this is the way to play. Like, you notice how I haven't really looked at the other lanes. No reason to look if it doesn't affect you, right? If you're not going to be TPing, if you know that, you don't even have to look at the other lanes. You don't have to freak out about the fact that it was 6-1 at the beginning of the game. Now it's more even. We have a sort of inting Anivia, so that could be problematic. But other than that, I think the game's going all right. So we're farming. Again, we're doing pretty well on the farm. We haven't taken a single jungle camp, which again, I think that needs to be incorporated in your game. I think that proxying and taking jungle camps is the best way for you to make a real impact on Sion. Um, but again, I mean, we're doing well. It's definitely not bad. And we're gonna hit these plates here. I'm interested to see how Famon uses the Swifties. It looks like he's using them well, like he's moving a lot. I think that if you're going to buy this, you're really going to have to play a more mobile Scion. Um, a lot of Q cheese, which I think is a pretty good idea. But again, it doesn't really hurt Yorick anymore. He's fine. He's fine just tanking it, and his Maiden's going to regen health because of the recent buffs. Like again, if I was the one playing Yorick, I would be okay with how the situation is. I mean, I think it's good for Sion too, but I think that there was some missed opportunities in the landing phase. So we're gonna back. I don't know what we're getting here. So we backed for a Giant's Belt, and we're TPing to the fight. Okay, I like this. I think this is a good TP. It's a nice TP. I think that sacrificing an already low tower for a kill, not bad. And he gets the kill. He'll take a shutdown. I don't think it's good to have a shutdown on Sun. I would rather not have a shutdown, but we'll take it. Okay, he's ghosting in. He's got to hit this box. He's not hitting the box. And the Maiden is absolutely destroying this game. I like how he's chasing down this Maiden, by the way. The key to Yorick. Oh, wait, we shouldn't have pushed it away. Oh, Zach's on Kane here. Is it actually blue Kane? That is horrible. This guy should be ashamed of himself. Why is it blue Kane? Should be red Kane every single time. What? That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you ever go blue Kane here? Okay, so this is a this is a fight. We're gonna win it. Speed up. Okay, so we're going back to the top lane. Farming, farming, farming. York has 3 seconds. Recall, recall. Again, why are we still pushing? We know he's going to TP. We know he has TP. Hopefully we've been timing it. You should recall already. Especially if you can get Heartsteel, which I think he probably has Heartsteel in his inventory. He still doesn't have Heartsteel. Again, by using the Swifty Boots and the Sunfire Cape, if we're getting Heartsteel at 20 minutes, it doesn't become as worth it. This is looking good. What I do like is I feel like the mechanics are really nice here. I feel like Famon has not made a lot of mechanical errors, which I've been impressed by. Obviously, Sion's not the most mechanical champion, but if you want to watch my games, I am not the mechanical. That's not me. So, you got to take what you can get. So he took a nice little trade here. Again, what I've been most impressed with is the CS numbers. 184 without taking any jungle camps is really, really impressive. That means he's not missing minions. So that's really good. And, he's 202. I think that the TP has been good. I think a lot of the macro plays have been really nice. I think there are just some errors in laning phase, but other than that, I've been really impressed by what I've been seeing. And he gets Heartsteel finally. If it were me, I would get Bramble Vest instead of this Ruby Crystal and stop buying Control Ward. It's not worth it. There's no reason to buy a Control Ward on Sion. Where are you going to put it that's going to be useful? Unless you're putting it on a major objective, there's no reason for a Control Ward. This should just be armor. I would even potentially sell Dorn Shield if you can get Bramble Vest here. So he's going to get a Heartsteel stack. The cage is pretty bad. Okay, this is a death. Yeah, so this is not the best death. I love this client. Okay. So we see Rift Herald. We see Rift Herald being spawned. So we see it now. It's pinged on the map. And we're still charging our Q. I mean, that's not great, I would say. And I also wouldn't have gone Ghost. I mean, I'm not a huge Ghost fan. I would have gone Flash just in case I get of a situation like this. I would be hitting the Rift Herald right now. He didn't hit the Rift Herald. So this might be some problems for his team. Looks like his team has come back though. It's 19-17. Again, I haven't really been paying attention to the rest of the map, but this Kane is really strong even though he went the wrong Kane. This looks like a really bad situation though. I mean, I don't mind losing this in him because it's just kind of free farm. But this Anivia is kind of trolling. Okay, so our first death, and again, like the CSing just became even after that, and they got an inhib. Feels like one mistake, but I think it's doable. If we're gonna think about inhibs, right? When is it good to lose an inhib? It's when there are no major objectives coming up. There's Baron, but it's 21 minutes in the game, and it's the top inhib. So you can push this lane and still be in range of the Baron. And I believe Dragon was just taken. So this is a good inhib to lose, in my opinion, because you're really not threatened with anything. So I would always let that inhib go and have someone farm it. Okay, so we're 202. Still seeing on this Ruby Crystal. Arcane's really putting in work here. We're all ulting into Neverland. It's fine. Rakan ulted also into Neverland. So again, not sure exactly why we're here. Our laners bot lane. Now we're gonna go for Baron, which I think is a good call because we need to get like the York spot lane. We just killed two people. I think we gotta do Baron here. So I'm glad that he. I also like that he was the first one there because that's the mark of a low elo player is someone who doesn't know to go to Baron. Like it nothing grinds my gears more when people don't know they go to Baron. Rakan with a really nice play, by the way, hitting that blast plant. Oh my God, Zach stole Baron. Okay, so this is pretty bad. I mean, we just got to zone him from the Baron, right? And we're losing so much from this, by the way. So we just lost two bot lane towers to York for this. And that all starts with. So work. Sorry, I'm going to go back a while. That all starts with this play. Why are we going mid on Sion here? Zaya should be mid. Kane's already getting this kill. You should be going bot lane. Always be away from the major objective. You shouldn't be going with your team a lot of the time. And again, like he seems like a more team fight oriented Sion, so I respect that he's going here. Like I don't think it's the worst play, but as soon as the play's over, I mean this is a terrible work on ult. I mean I like that he goes to Baron. I think that he tried to salvage the play by going to Baron, but he's got a hard ping this Anivia, tell her to go bot. Someone has to answer this. Um, because we do not do any damage to this Baron. And if we're not answering it, someone has to zone the Zac. Like you maybe should be here really trying to zone the Zac because the Zac should never be able to get in here. Okay. Again, I like the Rakan here, but it's Zac, you know? I also, another thing that you should think about is when you're on Baron as Sion, you should be pinging your Q and timing it with your jungler's smite. So you should wait until it's like 2000 or like 2500 and start queuing, and then have the jungler time their smite with your Q dropping. That's what I would have done as well. Okay, so we lost Baron. York's getting a lot of things done in the bot lane. Again, I like the instant recall. I think we're probably going to chase this York down. Okay, we took down Maiden. Again, I think because he plays a lot of York, he has a lot of good knowledge around the York matchup because I see a lot of people. Oh, wait, we're missing some things. I see a lot of people not actually focus on the Maiden when he's the most important part. So let's watch this team fight here. I also like how he's standing back here and ulting. Like I think that he's really good at finding these team fights and finding the angles in these team fights. I've really enjoyed watching how he uses ults. And this Aatrox is falsely pinging the TP. It's just like no, he was just right there. Um, this looks like a bad play for the Zac. Yeah, I like how he's tanking this. I think he's again. I think you've played team fights really well. I think that I've been pretty impressed by the way that the team fights have been played. I think, and that seems like your focus. And so we have a Giants belt here. What is this Giants belt becoming? If it's going to be Thornmail, we should have just bought Bramble Vest. Bramble Vest is so much better than Giants belt, which I think it should be becoming a brand. I think okay, he's going Titanic Hydra. Okay, I think that's okay. I would have gotten Bramble because you're dealing with healing, um, and then AD. So I would have gone Bramble here. But I don't think Titanic's that bad. I don't think it's that bad, but I would have gotten Bramble and then maybe Titanic afterwards. But we're 3-1-5. I mean, it's not going too badly, right? Taking a lot of damage. This Rakan is going in. The ults. Okay, I like how he's playing these fights. I think it's fine to die here. I think he should just die. He should get all these hard steel stacks. That's the one thing he should have done. Because now he's only going to get one of these hard steel stacks. Okay, he got two. But I would have really focused on the hard steel stacks. So this was a 2 for 3. Not a great fight. Okay, let's keep going. Anivia gets this kill. This Varus is a win trader. 9 deaths. So Nivea is taking over. He's somehow level 17. Seems a little crazy to me. He was always planning for late game, I guess. Okay, so we're going to prep for this dragon. This is a time where you can buy a pink ward. When a major objective is up, you have a Dorn shield. If you want to buy a pink ward and put it on the pit or put it in this bush, this is the one time I'll accept a pink ward. But any other time, no reason to buy a pink ward. Okay, let's slow down. So we're in the pit. This is not our job, by the way. We should not be in the pit. We should be in these bushes looking for Qs, looking for ult angles. We are not in a good position for this fight. There's no reason that we should be queuing over the wall here. We should be here. I mean, this is a good fight for them. I don't know why Zach is not going in here. I mean, I think Zach just griefed that. I think Zach could have fought that easily, but he didn't, and he's actually just trolling. What is he doing? Okay. So this worked out, but again, I would have much rather see a Sion here than in the pit. So we're getting the dragon again, but if you look at the CS, York's taking the lead on that front because of all the team fighting, which is something to note, right? I think it's fine that he's a more team fight focused Sion, but you just have to note that you're going to be sacrificing some farm for that. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so Kane's adventuring, blowing all of his sums and dying. This is a terrible death. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So we have Sion pushing top, which I think was a good idea. Again, like all of these things, a lot less important than the early game, in my opinion. Like, yes, it's great that we're doing all of this and that we're playing this part well, but the only reason we were able to play this well is because we have this many CS. We have some hard seal stacks, and we're starting Baron here. It's a bit of a sneak. And it's just going to be a free Baron for red. Blue was, I don't know. Blue was in another stratosphere. I don't know what they were doing, but they decided they are not going to contest, and there was no vision. So take a free Baron, and I like. So he has Titanic now, and he's going for the push here. And I think Titanic is good because there's a lot of health on the enemy team. Don't get me wrong. I just think Bramble's also really good. Sorry, we should not be focusing on this Anivia. Let's watch our friend. Okay. So again, I like that he's in the side. I like that he's going for this demolish Brock. I think he should just get it and then fight. Yep, I think he played it well.